welcome to Power Talk. I'm your host, the OG Chris Murray. Y'all know what time it is, man. The DML is heading into its 8th Madden CFM cycle, and it's time to break down these divisions from worst to top dogs. But joining me on the show today, man, I have Expert, the owner of those Buffalo Bills. What's going on, Expert? Welcome to be in the building, man.
What's good, Chris Murray? Let's figure out who's gonna be a dog and who's gonna be the doormat. Let's find out.
And you know, man, we got the guy in the building, Embro, the new owner of those New York Giants. Welcome back to the booth, Embro. What's going on?
What's good, bro? Time to shake off the dust off the stick and the mic. Let's get it.
Here you go. And also, too, we got the Embro Decoder. Expert has that on file. So if y'all having trouble understanding anything that Embro is saying, Expert is going to clear the air on that. But we're not going to hold the people up, man. Some votes came in on who was, of course, the worst to the top dog. So we're going to dive into this list and break down each division and giving our opinion why y'all fell where y'all fell at. But coming in at the number 8 slot, we have the Nfc North. Alright, we have SJ, the owner of the Green Bay Packers, Taz, the owner of the Detroit Lions, H-Bo, the owner of the Chicago Bears, and the big homie, the owner of those Minnesota Vikings. So, Expert, quick question, man. Why do you feel like this division came in last place? And do you think the league got this one right?
It's obvious. You got the big homie. You got H-Bo. Two guys that are going to be at the bottom of the pack every single year. It's those two are going to battle out who's the doormat. You could have put the doormat for either one of those. Mm-hmm. Then you got Taz. We don't know which Taz we're going to get. He had some success last year with the Lions, so he goes back to Detroit hoping he can rebuild some of that. But then we give SJ two good running backs, which SJ love. You got Aaron Jones. You got A.J. Dillon there. Then, of course, you got the gunslinger himself always in the backfield. They got a good defense. Mm-hmm. So I think SJ he runs this division. Taz is going to be the only one that maybe give him some trouble. What'll have to happen is SJ has to play horrible versus the rest of his opponents for these guys in this division to have a chance. Otherwise, let's just send him the division trophy for 9 straight seasons and be done with it.
All right, I'm coming to you on this one, Amber. So what advice can you give SJ to make the Packers team successful? Because just going off of DML history, the Packers organization have won 12 Super Bowls out of 62, making them the most successful team in the DML. So what advice can you give SJ to continue that legacy out there in Green Bay?
Man, you got to keep them young dogs, man. I mean, you got Jair Alexander, Darnell Savage, Kenny Clark. I mean, you got too many young beasts on that team, man, to let them dudes go. And like Expert was saying, man, they got a good running back duo. Keep them dudes, man. Run. I think SJ can do it, man. I mean, he's always been a hardcore runner in the league. I mean, I saw some stats last cycle where he was putting up ungodly numbers with JT. So, I mean, I think he could do the same thing with, Aaron Jones for sure. You know, he's going to have to draft some players because that cap space is pretty bad going forward because Aaron Rodgers has a, crazy new deal. But you got to keep them young bucks, man. But I'm more interested to see when we get to see that first boop video from H-Bo if he's able to upset SJ. So,
all right, man. Who runs this division this cycle and who's the doormat? Ember first.
Ah, man. I think SJ is going to run it, man. I think Taz is going to give him a good run for his money. Them Lions are, nice, Madden-built team. But I think SJ is going to take it. I think Taz is going to get some wild card shots. But doormat, I mean, could there be 2 doormats in the division?
Some people have 2 doormats in front of their door. I mean, it's one in the outside, one right when you come through the front door.
I was going to say, man, I think H-Bo might be the one in the outside, and Big Homie's going to be one coming from the inside. So, yeah, I think they're going to have 2 doormats in that division.
All right, Expert, who runs this division this cycle and who's the doormat?
Yeah, easily, this is SJ's division to lose. If he plays every single game, he wins. And we have 2 doormats here at the Expert household. We have one for college football game day where we put out, then we put the Cowboy one out for the Sunday football game. So there are 2 doormats in this division, and they go by the name of the big homie and H-Bo. Those 2 are going to battle out. That's going to be what we call the shit bowl, right? That's what that is right there. Those 2 guys play against each other 2 times a year. it's just they're horrible, and they're going to bring this league. They're going to bring this division down. SJ's going to look like he's a powerhouse until he gets in the playoffs and has to play guys like Embro, like Bus, and guys like that. But this is SJ's division. They were ranked perfect. If there could have been 9, we could have put them at number 9. They would have been at number 9 in this division.
Oh, jeez. I gotta agree. I gotta disagree on one thing. SJ don't run this division. I feel like just looking at the success that Taz had last cycle with the Lions and the holes and the gaps that he had to suffer with and still made that team successful. Coming into this cycle, I feel like he's entering on a better league. Lions have, a solid offensive line in my opinion. They're young. They got 3 dangerous targets for Goff to throw to, and the defense has some solid pieces. So if Taz could just figure out how to not turn the ball over, I feel like it'll be a toss-up every single year with him and SJ. Now the doormats, I ain't even gonna waste no time on that. H-Bo, the big homie, every single season they're gonna be battling for last place. H-Bo of course gonna make it fun to watch because he's gonna be dropping those videos, whatever. But that's where I stand at with it, and that's the breakdown of the H slot. Moving on next to the number 7 slot, we have the AFC South. Now we have Flair with the Indianapolis Colts, Omatic, aka Randy, with the Jacksonville Jaguars, JB with the Houston Texans, and Marley with the Tennessee Titans. Now, Ember, I'm gonna come to you. What do you like most about this division?
I think this is a bottom tier division, but I think it may be one of the most competitive where you're not sure who's actually going to win it each season. Mm-hmm. Now, I think my dog Marley's going to come out and throw some blows in the beginning of the cycle because I've been watching him play here recently in a different league, man, and he's figured out the run game. And when you got a dude like Derrick Henry in the backfield, that causes problems. And they got a nice young defense, and man, you got a quarterback like Malik Willis. I mean, that dude's attributes are crazy. Crazy speed, crazy throw power. I know he don't like to pass the ball, but he may have to just because that dude is so gifted on the game. Mm-hmm. But I think this is going to be a really competitive battle between all 4 of these guys, man. I think him and Randy both probably put the top 2 in that division, with Flair kind of lurking that 3rd spot, and JB, he's kind of hit or miss on when he wants to show up or not. But I think this is a pretty well balanced, and I think these guys have all played each other a lot over the years. For some reason, it feels like these guys have been in the same division multiple times in the past.
All right, I'm coming to you on this one, SJ. I said SJ. I don't know why I just said that, but expert. Sorry about that. You heard Emerald mention a little bit about the Tennessee Titans team and Marley. With the new passing mechanics that has been installed into this Madden 23 game, who's your day 1 starter for the Tennessee Titans at the quarterback position? Ryan Tannehill or Malik Willis?
I mean, if we're talking real NFL, I'm letting Tannehill play. But since we talking Madden, we got to develop the young guy. Malik has to play here, right? There's no other option. You got to put the youngster in and start developing day 1, and that's just the smart decision. The good thing is, like Embro said, he got the monster in that backfield in Derrick Henry. That if Malik is struggling, you just turn around and hand it to the Hulk in the backfield and let him just run everything over. So that's what it's going to come down to. Now, this is where Marley may get in trouble, though. Does he play Malik and he tries to develop him so much, he forgets that he has that monster in the backfield and he throws a bunch of picks? Because that's going to be the theme in this division, is who throws the most interceptions. And so we'll find out. If he's smart, he starts the youngster, but we'll see. He could try and salvage something those first couple seasons with Tannehill. But if it's me, I mean, it's a no-brain decision here to play the youngster.
All right, now Embro, you being a successful Russian style type of user, how successful would JT be this cycle with Flair taking over the Colts?
Hey man, if I'm Flair, I'm hitting up SJ's DMs, text messages, write him a letter or something, man, on how to figure out how to run the ball, man, because I said SJ put up ungodly numbers last cycle with this dude. And the Colts got a good offensive line, man. I mean, good O-line. They brought in a good quarterback in Matt Ryan, a way better team than they had last year. So, I mean, just give the man the ball. I mean, he's even better on this game starting out than he was last year. I mean, you can't – it's hard to create running backs on Madden like that. So, Flair, definitely hit up your boy SJ, and have him teach you some tricks on how to get those 2K rushing seasons, man. Because if he can do that, he puts himself in the conversation, maybe winning the division. And none of us want to see Flair want to win a division because he'll be putting 3 dudes in body bags in the chat. So.
The GOAT talk will pop up in the chat, and nobody wants to hear that because we already hear that enough from H-Bo. All right, expert, who runs this division this cycle, and who's the doormat?
Yeah, this is a tough decision for me. I want to go with my guy Omatic as the division champ coming out the gate that first year. Marley's going to give him a run for his money. I think it's come down to those two. I'm going to take Omatic. And then I think JB's the doormat here. I love JB. You know, he's got the Texans. They're not a very good team out the box. They're not going to be a good team for a while in this game. Mm-hmm. So I put JB as the doormat. But I want to piggyback off Flair. Flair he's not bad running the football. He did a good job last year with the Rams running the football. Had a pretty good rushing attack, and now we give him arguably the best running back in the game. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people want to say Derrick Henry you know, you got Mixon in Cincinnati, you got Eckler there with the Chargers. But JT out of that University of Wisconsin, that kid is a dog. And if Flair ever had a chance of winning the division, it's right now with this Indianapolis Colts team.
All right, Ember, who runs this division this cycle, and who's your doormat?
Man, I think Marley and Randy are going to split the whole cycle, man. I think they're going to go half and half. I think, you know, both of them are going to kind of go back and forth at each other. You know, the Jags are real young. The Titans are real young. Both them dudes like to make moves and draft and make trades. So it's going to be the battle on who can make the better deals on bringing enough talent to overcome each other. And I'm going to have to agree with the expert, man. My dog, JB, is probably going to be the doormat just because the Texans are so bad on the game. Mm-hmm. And it's going to take a few years of drafting just to get a solid team because right now they're pretty bad, man. And I definitely think he's going to be the doormat of this division.
Yeah, we all in agreement with this one. I'm going to have to go with Randy definitely running this division. Just because of the fact I like those 2 young edge rushers that he have on the defense side of the ball. And I feel like he's the more seasoned user in this division. Doormat, sorry JB, definitely got to give it to you, man, because this Texas team is just so horrible, man. It's nothing that I like about this team on either side of the ball besides the draft picks. So hopefully JB can draft well because it ain't easy drafting, but he's definitely going to be in contention with drafting top 5 talent for probably the first 3 or 4 seasons. So I'm looking forward to seeing what JB going to do with the Texans. But that was the breakdown of number 7. Moving on to number 6, we have the NFC South with Nasty Nupin-Nose Falcons, Champ Time with the Panthers, Tight Work with the Buccaneers, and Centaur with the New Orleans Saints. Expert, please, I want to know, how does a top user in the DML get the best team in Madden 23?
Well, I mean, the Bucs are the best team, but they're not the youngest team. So I think people kind of shied away from the Bucs because of how old they are. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady, you might have Tom Brady 1-2 seasons, and he's going to be done. So I think people shied away from that. Now, if you tight work, you're sitting down there at pick, I don't know what he had, pick 28. Mm-hmm. You're looking at this pick and you're going, okay, there's still some good teams on the board, you know, at pick 20, 25. When he got to pick 28 and he saw the Bucs was there, I think Tight Work couldn't have asked for a better situation. Now, the good thing about Tight Work, again, he's one of those type of guys. We could have gave him Sisters of the Blind, any kind of school that's a horrible franchise, and he would have built that team. That's what he does. He is a championship builder, so that wouldn't have made a difference. But the fact he got out the gate, probably 1 or 2, I wouldn't put them as the number 1 team. They're a top 5 team in the game, though. Mm-hmm. To give him a top 5 team, he is going to compete for a championship in year 1, and then it also helps that he's in that division, which, let's just be honest. We talked about 2 doormats. This division has 3 doormats. They got 1 at the front door, they got 1 inside the front door, and they got 1 in the back door. This is a doormat division, including Tight Work. The only reason this division is not lower than it is because of that guy named Tight Work.
That's crazy.
Otherwise they would have been 7 or 8. But Tight Work, I plan on him at least winning 1 chip this Madden. We'll see what the old guy can do with those Bucks. But yeah, 3 doormats in tight work.
All right, well, expert said it the best. He said it's 3 doormats in this division, and literally Tight is the guy that's. I don't know if you ever seen a weightlifting competition. The guys that be pulling the trucks. So Tight is literally pulling this division up to slot number 6. So Embro, who challenges Tight for the division crown? Like, who out of these 3 users, who do you have in the best spot, in the best position, challenging Tight to potentially losing this division crown?
That's tough, man, because I think all 3 of them dudes are on the same level. I think Centaur may have the best shot. He's got a pretty good team in the Saints, and that's his home team. And so I think he's going to play a little bit better because he's playing with his favorite team. But I think Ty Worth's probably going to go 9 for 9 this division. I mean, when you come out the box and you got that kind of a squad, I mean, I think they had the most superstars and X factors on one team out the gate. That's going to be tough to deal with, man. And, you know, Ty Worth likes to trade and make deals, so I wouldn't be shocked to see a lot of them dudes on different rosters and him getting draft picks to retool his team. But, I mean, Ty Worth's a Florida guy, man, so he kind of stayed close to home, and he got a great team, and I definitely think he's going to run that division. But my question is that for years, man, Nasty Noop's always been complaining about having a bad quarterback in Matt Ryan and that horrible contract. So now Matt Ryan is gone, and you don't got that contract. You still got a bad cap situation with the dead money, but they got Marcus Mariota and the nice rookie in Ritter. So is this the season that we're going to see?
No, it's not. It's not.
And have something different.
Listen. There are times in life when you just have to accept the fact that your thumbs are broken in Madden. Listen, again, I've said this a million times, right? Nobody is calling Dr. Dre and saying, "Hey, man, I want you featured on this next track." Nobody. He's not getting in the booth with anybody. That's just not. They would rather call DJ Khaled to make a song and have him on the mic than Dr. Dre. But if you flip that CD over in the bottom corner where it says produced by, that's where Dr. Dre name goes. And so that's what Noop needs to hang his hat on. When he uploads a video to YouTube on the DML network, it says produced by Nasty Noop. At no point will he have to ever go into the software and change the Super Bowl banner to say Nasty Noop. It's okay. That ship has sailed. Thumbs broken, washed. Cut a tree down, paint the deck, raise his kids. All of those are things Nasty Noop can do well. Playing Madden football is not it. It's over with. It's okay. You got the Falcons. No more Matt Ryan. Just go over there in Atlanta, have fun, and lose 10, 11, 12 games a season. It's all right. We still love you, Dr. Dre.
All right, so my question is, we already know who running the division. We got Tight running it. Expert already said it's 3 doormats. So, Ember, do you agree with experts' answer on who runs the cycle and who's the doormat of this cycle? We got 3 doormats. We already had 2. So, do we got 3 doormats in this division?
Oh yeah, man. There's like he said, one at the front door, back door, going up to the garage door. I mean, there's 3 of them, man. And the only reason that this division's even number 6 is because Tight Work's a perennial, Super Bowl winner. So if he wasn't in here, man, this division might have been ranked number 9. So yeah, I don't see any of them dudes really competing with Tight, and I definitely think all them guys are going to be middle tier to lower class, this whole cycle.
All right, well, that was the breakdown of slot 6. Moving on next to number 5, we have the AFC East, and we have Squire with the Pats, we have Expert with the Buffalo Bills, Coach with the Miami Dolphins, and Bino with those New York Jets. Now, Tyreek Hill, the fastest offense, this, that. And my question is this: how successful will Coach be this cycle with, even though he has all of that firepower? My question for you, Embro, is because you were one of them guys who had to make a tough decision when you took over the Packers, and you had Jordan Love there, and you still had A-Rod there. Is Tua his guy to where as though he can put Coach and this squad in the best position to win in the banner, or do he have to get rid of Tua after that first or second season?
I mean, for me, I hate left-handed quarterbacks in real life. I hate him on the game, so that's already a knock for me. Now, do I think he could play with them? Well, yeah, man, because like I've said before, that this game you can have. I'd rather have an accurate quarterback than one that can just chuck it deep. So you got to be able to get those guys in the right position. You can't just run verticals all game. That ain't going to work because you're going to probably throw at least 5 picks a game doing that. Mm-hmm. But if he could do the drags, the crossers, the screens, that kind of stuff, Tua can be successful. I don't know much about the user, to be honest with you, so I don't know how he plays, if he's a passer or not. But, if he can't, if he wants to throw the ball deep all game, then yeah, he's going to have to dump Tua. But if he wants to do that short to mid-range game and take a shot every now and then, I think Tua could be all right. Maybe tight work and him can work out a deal to send Tua to Tampa Bay. I don't know.
Okay. Now, expert, coming to you because Bino said something yesterday and kind of is still bothering me. You take over the Buffalo Bills. Of course, I believe we haven't seen a Buffalo Bills user raise this team in the rafters since Madden 16. We consider that the ancient days of the dynasty. So you take over the Buffalo Bills, one of my favorite picks this draft. And out of 9 seasons, if we play, how many divisions crowns do we see the Buffalo Bills taking? Now, Bino said, I'm gonna let you know what Bino said. Bino stated, and I state, he's winning at least 4 of those division crowns if we play 9 seasons.
It's cap. That's just cap. Come on, man. Listen.
He was serious as a heart attack when he said
if we play 9 seasons, I win 12 of them. Let's just be honest. Listen, these 3 guys, as soon as they pick the Jets, the Dolphins, and whatever else, what's the other team in there? I don't even know what the other team is. Oh, Squire got it. He got the Patriots. Mm-hmm. It's because Squire got him. That's easily forgettable. Listen, as soon as you pick these teams in the AFC East, you automatically relegated yourself to fight for second place here. Let's just be honest. We have something to prove this year. I took a season off. I took a cycle off. Mm-hmm. When I do it, listen, everybody else can do it. It's cool, but it's a problem when an expert does it. So I understand. I ruined Dynasty, blah, 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 whatever it is. I got a vengeance. I got some vindictive nature in me now that these poor guys in the AFC East, I'm finna break their neck every chance I get. And I'm going to do the same thing to the rest of this Dynasty League because I got to win another banner. People forget I won a banner in Madden 22. Mm-hmm. Then, yes, I made a bad decision. Signed Kyler Murray without the picture like I should have. First time I ever had a 7-year contract. Wasn't used to it. It's okay. It's my fault. I took ownership of it. I cut the man, let him go. Then I watched him waste away with H-Bo for the rest of the cycle. If I would have had Kyler Murray the whole cycle, I would have won multiple championships. Multiple. Not 4, not 5, not 6. On my LeBron James game, I promise you, that's the type of game Madden 22 was. If you had a running quarterback, you were filthy. So it's okay. I got something to prove this year. Buffalo Bills, we hanging a banner. I'm sorry to the other 3 guys in the division. Y'all doormats to me. Y'all might as well hang it up.
He just melted the mic down, so I gotta bring in some ice to cool it down a little bit. How many seasons, Ember, do you see Squire completing this cycle? Now the line right now just opened up in Vegas in the DML odds book. It says 4.5. Do you see him going over that or under that? Because especially with that statement the expert just made, definitely now. What you putting your money on? Over or under? 4.5 seasons.
I'd have to say over, man. I don't think he would take a team with that age and be like, hey, I'm out in a season or 2. Now, he may quit because he gets beat down too much. I don't know, but I would hope to think that he has a long-term plan on playing. But yeah, I would have to take the over on that one, man. But I definitely think he's going to be the doormat in the division just because he hates Mac Jones because he can't throw the long ball. And, Squire's been notorious for throwing interceptions. I think he probably has a dynasty record for most interceptions in a season. So he's playing against some tough guys. And when you hate your quarterback and you're not good at passing, it's definitely a bad combo. So I don't expect to see Squire competing in that division. I definitely see Expert running away with it all cycle. I think Bino's going to give him a run for his money at some spots, but the Buffalo Bills out the gate are just a nasty team. And, Bino was kind of saying that team was old, but people fail to realize that the Bills are pretty young in a lot of spots. So They got mad talent, and that's why they were picked in the top part of the draft. And but yeah, I don't see anybody else really taking the crown in that division, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely just get right to it. Experts running that division. I feel as though just the way that the structure that team is built around on the defense side of his liking to as far as speedy linebackers aware, so he can put together different various blitz packages. And Josh Allen, are we really sitting here like Josh Allen? The way that this guy plays on this game is just ridiculous. Mobile, strong arm, and he's accurate. Need I say more? Now as far as the division doormat, I want to say Squire, but I'm gonna have to say Coach. Now this is the reason why I'm gonna have to say Coach, is because I feel like with Tyreek Hill, and I forget the other wide receiver's name, Waddle. Yeah. I feel like he's gonna put himself in a lot of bad situations. Now, I feel like after probably a season or two, this is one of them things. I'm gonna go back to what experts said, how he got the college doormat out and then he switch it and he puts the Cowboys out on Sunday. I feel like the doormat is going to switch to Squire once Coach figures out how to get that passing attack clicking, whether he make a decision of keeping Tua or moving on from Tua. But I feel like out the gate, I feel like the Dolphins and Coach is going to struggle a little bit, just because, you know, that passing attack is not going to be clicking, but then it's going to switch to Squire on those pads. But that's the breakdown of slot 5. Moving on next to slot 4, we have the AFC North with Blackie Chan and the Baltimore Ravens, Dub and those Bengals, and Ramsey and the Browns, and Styles and the Steelers. Now, coming right to you on this one, expert. After Styles, of course, last cycle having an X-Factor quarterback with Patty Mahomes, now heading into this new cycle with Kenny Pickett, how successful would Styles be with these Steelers?
I mean, let's look at Styles' resume. Like, this is a banner winner. Like, we got. I know we give Styles a hard time. Him and O'Matic go back and forth all the time. We got to put some respect on Styles. He went and took the Steelers like he said he was. He came back home where his team is. He's going to struggle a little bit probably with Pickett. He's probably going to end up making a change in quarterback. But this division is a two-man race, and we got to put Styles in that two-man race. He's that good. We have to. Now, it's easier for Ramsey because he out the box with a Super Bowl contender in the Browns. But let's not sleep on Styles. Styles is a good user, and I expect him to compete. Now, he's not going to do that with Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, he got a noodle for an arm. He's not very fast. He can't throw the ball very well. But once Styles gets him a quarterback, he'll trade with some lowlife in the league and get him a quarterback. And before you know it, Styles will be up there competing for championships with the Steelers.
Okay. Now, I'm going to come to you on this one. Embro, who's the first player to go off of this Cleveland Browns roster? Because he can't keep everybody. He's going to run into some issues with, of course, that massive Deshaun Watson contract. So who's the first guy that you can see Ramsey moving off of this roster?
Honestly, man, I think it's going to be Nick Chubb. I think he,
Robot Chubb. Oh, my God.
Man, if you look at some of them contracts, a lot of them contracts are long-term deals. I mean, Watson, they gave him a fully guaranteed deal. Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. I mean, a lot of them guys are, you know, super long contracts. So Chubb, he signed a shorter deal, typically what running backs do. And I think a lot of people are going to be like, hey, let me throw you these picks, let me throw these players. And with the Browns team that's going to be kind of cash strapped, you're going to have to make those tough choices. Are you going to pay a little bit older running back to keep him, with that cap situation? So, running backs are a dime a dozen, man. You could trade one and draft another. So I definitely think you get max value for a guy like Chubb, and can get a big time return. So yeah, I definitely think Chubb may be the first one on the block. I mean, now for me, would I trade him? Probably not, just because he's a beast on the game and he runs over anything and everything like Derrick Henry and JT. But when you're cash strapped, you got to make some moves, man.
Okay, now expert, do you feel? Okay, so we gotta talk about it. How successful do you feel that Dub will be with Joe Burrow taking over these Bengals, or is this going to be another repeated cycle where we see another superstar X Factor quarterback fall down in the grave ditch, close the casket, throw the dirt on top of them, and lay some flowers on their grave?
I mean, who did Dub have last year?
Justin Herbert.
We gave him Justin Herbert out the box, was a great quarterback. We gonna do the same thing to Joe Burrow. I think it's pretty evident. Now, I think that Bengals team is nicer than what position they got picked in. They fell pretty far in this draft, but they're a good team. They got a good running back in Joe Mixon. So, Dub, every time you think about throwing the ball, audible to a run, please. Please, just turn around and hand it to 28. Let's be real. Let's stop. Dub, come on, man. Come on, listen, I know Dub. He probably get distracted. You know, he got 22 kids running around in that mansion he got. Probably people talking on the intercom system, bothering him while he's playing. Listen, just run the football. Stop throwing it so much, because he's going to ruin Joe Burrow just like he did Justin Herbert. And we all get to watch this, like that slow car accident that you just can't look away from. Meanwhile, his defense giving up 70, 80 points a game. That's the other part we don't talk about, is that team likes to turn the ball over and give up points, and then his defense can't stop anything. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a rough cycle here for Joe Burrow and get the Gap boys.
All right, man. So remember earlier, experts said that it was a toss-up between Ramsey and Styles. Now, just looking on paper right now, Blackie Chan has a loaded Baltimore Ravens defense. Do you feel like that this still isn't enough to put Blackie Chan in the conversation of possibly winning this division?
Man, I don't know much about the user myself, to be honest with you. I mean, the Ravens got a nice team on paper. They lost some talent, via trade and free agency and things like that. So, I mean, the Ravens aren't as potent as what they once were. Mm-hmm. But if you want to compare them between them and the Steelers, I'm probably going to take the Steelers, because I like the Steelers pieces a little bit better. This game is built to rush forward. And if you look at it, man, you got T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward. They got another outside linebacker that they, rush the passer a lot with. They got Devin Bush. I mean, their defense is just loaded, man. Mm-hmm. And you got a user like Styles, like experts said, man. Styles came out there. He beat you last cycle and hung a banner. I mean, so he conquered the best team on the game and when you had the Packers. And so, I mean, he can do it. I mean, he used to be a heavy 2K guy, man, and he figured out how to play Madden, and he's been doing his thing. So I honestly think it's going to be a split between him and Ramsey. But if Styles can get a little bit, younger in certain positions, I think he's going to be all right. But again, like with Kenny Pickett, I would be all for Kenny Pickett even with that noodle arm. But he's like, a 30-year-old rookie. So I'm not sure how fast you can develop a guy like that. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Styles come out and play Trubisky off the jump.
All right, who runs this division? Expert, who's the doormat for this cycle?
Yeah, I definitely think Ramsey runs this division. This is his division to lose. Him and Styles are going to go back and forth, but I'm going to give it to Ramsey. He's got a more complete team. It'll come down to what he does with the cap situation. Like Hembro said, he's going to have to make some tough decisions early on in the cycle, and that's going to determine how good this Browns team can be. But Ramsey he's definitely talented enough to do that. I think the doormat goes back and forth here. I think you got two potential guys that could be the doormat. But coming out the box, I got to give it to Dub. I mean, shout out my guy Dub. Love the dude to death. He's a good guy, but I just think the turnovers in this game, if you try and throw the ball around like you did in 22, it's going to be worse than what you saw with Justin Herbert. This game defensively just plays so much different. I think Blackie Chan, he's going to kind of hide underneath this anonymity because nobody really knows who he is yet. So we've only had so many seasons with him, but I'm going to give it to Dub first, but then I think it eventually turns into Blackie Chan once everybody figures it out and some of those Raven pieces start going away. Embro talked about it. They lost, their threat over the top in Hollywood Brown. He goes to Arizona, where he's going to die with Chris Murray at the helm. The the Ravens offensively don't have the same weapons that they did last year with KP had them. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see, but I expect Blackie Chan to end up being a doormat at the end of the day after Dub.
All right, who you got running this division this cycle, Umbro, and who's the doormat in your opinion?
Man, I'm going to give it, if we do 9 seasons, I figure I'm going to give Styles 5 and Ramsey 4. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have a little bit better long-term situation, a little bit less, big-time moves that are going to have to be made. So I'm going to give it 5-4 to Styles. I don't see the other two guys, really competing for that. They could surprise it, but the doormat, I'm probably going to have to give it to Dub, man, just because if he tries to pass like he did last cycle, he might be up there with Squire with leading the league in picks with Joe Burrow. And, hey, man, if you don't want Joe Burrow, you can send him to New York, man. So, but I give it to Dub for sure.
All right, I'm going to have to kind of throw the monkey wrench out there. For the division, who's going to run the division this cycle? I believe is going to be a 3-way split. And the only reason why I'm saying is because for some reason, Blackie Chan was excited when he took these Ravens. I don't know if this is his home team, but when he came in the booth and he seen the Ravens, he was announcing his pick. He was like, I thought he was in the booth making a rap song at one point. So I feel like with the way that the game plays, it tips in the favor of the defense. Out there box, I feel like the Ravens is on the same level as the Steelers, on the same level as the Browns. So I feel like we're playing 9 seasons. Each single season is going to be a three-way toss-up between those 3 squads. Doormat wasn't hard for me. Dub for sure. Just off of the fact of he just turns the ball over too much. Until he can close that wound that he has given me of him just killing quarterbacks' careers, I have him as the doormat for the whole entire cycle unless he just flick a switch and just turns into a Patrick Mahomes type person as far as making the proper reads. But that's the breakdown of slot number 4. Moving on next to slot number 3, we have the AFC South. And we have Skill Trade with the Broncos. We have Dynasty with the Raiders, Sweets with the Chiefs, and we have Bruce with the Chargers. Now, expert, how do the DML let the Chiefs, who is by far loaded on the offense side of the ball, we have an offense of style type user, how do the DML let this squad falls into Sweets' lap?
Yeah, it's one of those mind-baffling things, kind of like the Bengals falling so far in this draft as well. It's hard to explain, but hey, he got him. It's done with. It's over with. Now we have to live with the consequences in the AFC that we've given Sweets arguably one of the best teams in the entire game. Even though Tyreek is gone. It's going to be difficult for them to recreate that type of offense. But when you got a guy like Sweets 99, again, just like tight work, we could give Sweets any team in this league, and he's going to find a way to be successful. He proved that with the Patriots last year with Mac Jones at quarterback. So it's not like giving Sweets a bad team is going to stop him from being good. The only saving grace we have is that there is another goon in that division by the name of Bruce. And so those two guys are going to beat up on each other for an entire cycle. So that's kind of what we have to hope for is that those two guys figure each other out. And so they're battling back and forth, and we may have an easier road. But it's going to be interesting to see what he does with Patrick Mahomes and those Chiefs, because they're out the box. I got Sweets being the division champ right out the box in this division.
All right, Ember, what do you like about this Chargers roster?
Man, for me personally, I think this roster is probably the best roster on the game out the jump. You got every single position group has a stud. Starting with Herbert. His abilities are off the charts in this game. And if he can learn how to pass the ball with these new passing mechanics, Herbert's going to be one of those rock star quarterbacks all cycle. You got a great receiving group. Crazy running back, great offensive line. the defense is silly, man. I mean, when you trade for Khalil Mack to pair him with Bosa, and then you sign J.C. Jackson for a really pretty cheap deal, in my opinion, from the Patriots. I mean, that team is just loaded. So I look for him and Sweets to go back and forth all cycle. I mean, the Chiefs, man, I think people were scared to take them because they lost Tyreek Hill. People fell in love with that 99 speed, 99 acceleration, and they thought the Chiefs wouldn't be good. But the Chiefs are still great, man. I mean, they got a lot of great draft picks this year. So I look for those two teams to really duke that all cycle and trade division, winners each season.
Okay. Now, just a question. Anybody can answer this. Who do we see first? Skill trade with the Denver Broncos or dynasty with the Las Vegas Raiders winning the division crown this cycle at all?
No, neither one.
No.
Neither one. Stop.
No.
Stamp it. Court adjourned.
Unless they give division champs out to third or fourth place, that ain't happening.
All right, so since we got the two heavy hitters, who do we see running this division this cycle? Because clearly it's out of Bruce's Sweets. Who you guys got running it, and who's the doormat?
I mean, I think they're gonna split, man. I'll probably give the edge 5-4 to Sweets. I think Sweets is obviously always one of them dudes that are just gonna ball out, especially with that kind of a quarterback already ready to go. But I'd give it 5-4. The doormat, and it's the homie skill trade, man. The Broncos are a great team. They got Russell Wilson, but they also just paid that dude an ungodly amount of money to an old quarterback. So I think they're going to be a little bit of cap trouble. But, yeah, I would have to give it 5-4 to Sweets and then doormat, go to them Broncos.
I mean, can you say it any better than that? I mean, that's really the breakdown. 5-4 Sweets is what I had it. I had skill trade as the doormat. I mean, jot it down, stamp it. That's exactly how it's gonna go.
All right, man. I gotta disagree. I'm going with Bruce being the heavy hitter of this division. Because, like Ambrose said, man, the defense. Like, a lot of people forget that Bruce is the defense first type user. Like, he loves having a loaded defense. So for him just to get that out the gate, and then on the other side be blessed with Justin, come on. Like, I have him taking, if he playing 9 seasons, he's going to take, I'm going to give him 5. No, I'm going to give him 5. And then I'm going to give Sweets 3. And I'm going to say this with jumping off a leap of faith. I'm going to have Dynasty and the Raiders getting 1. Now, I don't know when he's going to get it, but I have him at least getting 1. He better pray that Sweets and Bruce go on vacation around the same time, man. They can't take their PS5 with him, and he's getting a couple loaded up for his W's. But that's where I'm at with it. And the doormat, of course, I gotta go. And it hurts me to say this, man, because this Denver Broncos team is great. But skill tree and the Broncos is the doormat of the full entire cycle of the AFC South. But moving on next to number 2, we have the NFC West. We got my Arizona Cardinals. We have Andy with the 49ers, C-Rob with the Rams, and Schemer with the Seahawks. I'm going to come into you expert on this because I feel like this squad fits the same. It has the same exact loaded talent that your roster has with these 49ers. Do you see any weakness on this 49ers roster out the gate that needs to be addressed by Andy?
I mean, it's going to come down to the QB play, who he puts out there. Okay. I like Trey Lance. He's young. He needs some development in the game, but you got a guy in Andy Force that has proven he can develop anybody. So if we're going to give somebody Trey Lance, Andy Force is the perfect pick. So really the weakest part probably, and Andy Force could probably tell you this way better than us because he's actually a 49er fan. Mm-hmm. There's probably some questions on this offensive line. Defensive line, they are stout inside, outside. Linebackers are nice. The safeties you could probably upgrade at the safety position. But, I mean, this is a loaded team out the box to a loaded user. And I'm not talking about loaded on PBRs. I'm talking about a loaded goon on the sticks. This is the guy we could not afford to give the 49ers to, and we did. And so let's see what he does with them. I expect Andy Force to win a banner again this Madden cycle, and it would not surprise me if it's in the first couple seasons.
Ooh, Embro, is Seattle with the new owner of the Schemer, is this the new destination where we can label it the senior citizen home, where all the old player washed up, nobody wants you players land in Seattle because the way that Schemer likes to reconstruct his team?
Oh yeah, man. Seattle's one of them teams where you are blessed to get them because they got cap space, young team, tons of draft picks, but that's going to get ruined pretty quickly, man. I expect to see like 34-year-old X-Factor receivers being traded for first-round picks. I definitely think that team's not going to be what it's intended to be. So if Schemer does it right, he can make that team really good. But we all know the long-term history and how he rolls. I expect to see him get fleeced in the DMs pretty quickly for them picks. But yeah, I mean, Seattle's one of them teams that everyone wanted to play with. He finds a quarterback. He upgrades some of those spots on defense. They can be good. I mean, they got a crazy athletic freak at cornerback and Tyree Woolen. He's tall and crazy speed. I think he has like a 97, 98 speed in the game. If he can play him out the jump and get him, boosted a little bit, maybe get a couple scenarios. I mean, he could be a nice corner. Right now, he's pretty raw just because he really can't cover nothing. He's just fast, but he's got the talent, man. He's got crazy speed, but we all expect Schemer to do Schemer things, and maybe he needs to go take some cruises or sing some karaoke or something like that before he makes a silly decision.
Yeah, man. I just got to piggyback off the Seattle team. I love everything about this team. They have so much youth that can be built up to be something, but it's just Schemer's just not that guy. He plays on the D-line. He really don't use her any type of other positions on the defensive side of the ball. Of course, you got DK Metcalf, but outside of that, on the offense, you have Noah Fant, of course. You have Kenny Walker, who I like, but I just feel like all those pieces that I just mentioned are somehow going to find their way off of this Seattle roster and end up somewhere and being traded for a guy like a Julio Jones, for a top 15 pick, whatever. But it is what it is. But Expert, I'm coming to you on this one because I just got to ask. What are we getting from C-Rob this cycle with a loaded LA Rams team?
Yeah, C-Rob is kind of that dark horse in this division. He's proven that he can play with anybody. He's got some nice wins under his belt. So I expect him to be that middle of the pack kind of guy in the NFC. It's going to be weird him not having his Panthers, but I expect him to be another good user in this division. Now, unfortunately, he's in the division with the OG and Andy Force, so I don't see him winning a division crown, but we might see C-Rob's grabbing one of those wild card spots once in a while, and we'll see if he can be successful with those with that team up there. But I don't know, it's gonna be tough. You got arguably one of the greatest dynasty users of all time in Andy Force, and not far behind him is the OG Chris Murray, who, listen, if we would have asked this 2 cycles ago, Chris Murray was the washed up user with no thumbs. And then he apparently, something happened at the Chick-fil-A restaurant that got him going again. I don't know what he did. They got a new cookie recipe. I don't know what happened. All I know is all of a sudden Chris Murray was resurrected and became a goon again in the dynasty, which is just weird. But I just don't see that happening for C-Rob when he's got to go against Murray and against Andy Force. So I'm rooting for C-Rob. Good guy. Would love to see him win him something, but I just don't see it happening.
All right, man. Embro, who runs this division this cycle and who's the doormat?
Man, so running the division, I'm gonna have to give the edge to Andy Force. That team is just stacked, man. They got a lot of great young talent. You already got a good quarterback you can juice up. You got, Bosa and that D-line. I mean, they got Deebo Samuel, Kittle. I mean, there's just a lot of great talent. I'd probably have to say Andy Force wins probably 6 or 7 of the divisions and titles, and then I'm gonna give you a couple of them. I know you're going to struggle a little bit, running around with, little Mighty Mouse Kyler Murray in the backfield. That O-line's pretty trash in Arizona, so you got to get a couple of things fixed before you can start chucking up bombs to all them speed demons at receiver. Doormat, man, that's going to have to put a schemer. I don't foresee him, competing here. If he could do it the right way and build that team up, they could be really nice. I just don't see it happening. I don't know if he's, adjusted his defensive play getting off the D-line. They don't have a superstar D-lineman that he could just bull rush and knock dudes over. Maybe he could trade for one. Maybe he'd give up 2 first-round picks to somebody to get one. I don't know. But I definitely think he's going to be the doormat.
All right, expert, who you got running this division this cycle? Who's your doormat?
Yeah, I think Andy Force runs this division, and then the doormat is real simple. It's just schemer. He listen. And what's sad is he paid money to be the doormat. This gotta hurt your heart. This gotta hurt your soul right now. That's an expensive doormat, man. This gotta hurt your soul. You paid to get your ass whooped for 9 seasons.
That's an expensive doormat, man.
That's gotta hurt, my guy. Like I feel bad for him because he paid good money for it. But at the end of the day, no amount of money is going to help Schemer. Unless he starts paying off OG and Andy Force the tank, maybe that's what he does. And all of a sudden, Schemer wins the division. I mean, Schemer got deep pockets apparently. So, hey, Schemer's the doormat. Andy Force, I think Andy Force wins 6 of these. I think the OG Chris Murray finds a way to win 2 or 3. We'll find out. But, yeah, easy division for those 2 at the top.
All right, man. I just gotta give credit when credit is due, man. Andy definitely. I feel like he's gonna be there for the first couple seasons as far as winning this division, because Arizona, we got a lot we gotta figure out. We gotta just face the facts. The game is not really built around the style that the Cardinals have. Whether it's the damn playbook, I fucking hate the playbook, but the quarterback, of course, and the O-line, and just on the defense, we don't have a legit pass rusher. So once we figure those things out, we're going to definitely be ready to take this crown and bring it to Arizona. But our doormat, I'm going to have to give it to Schemer, man. I just feel like he's going to be a wash. You taking 2 L's. You paid for a slot in the draft, pick late, and that money that you paid for, and not only picking late, you about to be the doormat of the NFC West for the whole entire 9 seasons. So that's where we at with that one. But moving on to the number 1 slot, and once the draft kind of shaped itself up after those first couple picks, kind of felt like the league was going to tip in the favor of crowning them the toughest, the top dogs of the divisions for the Madden 23 cycle. Now, we got the Bucs taking over the Eagles. We got Vitamin returning home to the Cowboys. We have Under 2 Rated returning home to the Washington Commanders. And then we have Umbro taking the Giants off of the board with the last team. Now, I'm just going to put it out there because the people want to know. Is the NFC Beast really back, or is it overrated? And whoever want to chop at that question first can go.
It's definitely back. It's definitely back. Like, come on, man. Let's look top to bottom of this division. This is the toughest division in Dynasty. If you win this division crown, you earned it. Mm-hmm. There is no doubt about it. You earned this division crown. And you deserve to be the NFC East champion. And arguably, we're going to see multiple banners come out of this division. Okay. They're going. And here's the great thing: when you have great users in your division, it prepares you for the playoffs in the dynasty, because pretty much every time you play a division mate, it's a playoff type game. You can't afford to lose to the guys in your division. Bus with the Eagles, you got Vitamin with the Cowboys. Now you got Embro coming back, taking the Giants. And listen, I wanted to go first, Chris Murray, before the politician, Mr. Donald Trump himself, could get on this microphone and start feeding that bull crap to us and start lying about I'm washed. I don't play Madden no more. My thumbs don't work like they used to. Let's stop all that. Listen, there are 3 goons in this division, and then there's 1 user who's going to have fire uniforms every single week. That's what this division is. 3 goons and fire uniforms. And I told him today, I told Under 2 Rated today, just come out every week with your fire uniforms. No one will remember the record. We just want to see the black on black unis with the black helmet. It's going to be nasty, the combinations he comes out with those Washington Commanders. That's what I'm looking for out this division. And then I expect this division to be run by all three guys. We may see the first 3-3-3 split in Dynasty history because all of these guys have rosters. You got the Cowboys who have across the board offense, defensive line. They got receivers. They got secondary. They have two good running backs. They got a good quarterback. You got the Eagles, who at this point, everybody in the league is just wishing we would please start. Hurry up and start before that man Howie trades for another superstar to put on this team. Because it looks like every day I wake up, the Eagles are adding more and more pieces to build this roster. They got speed at wide receiver. They got linebackers are nice. Defensive line is out. Those two guys in the middle. I'm running 4 down linemen the whole game with the big guy that they drafted this year. And of course, you got Cox still in the middle. And then you have a secondary with arguably the best corner in the NFL. A lot of people like to sleep on Darius Slay. He's one of the best still. You got the only bad part in that Philadelphia locker room might be the guy at quarterback on Madden. He may be the one piece. If he plays well and we gave him to the bus, who's a great user, the only problem that right now the Embro probably has is this team out the box is not very good in New York, but he's proven to be a builder of organizations. I would say he's probably top echelon in building a franchise. So, I mean, get your popcorn ready. The NFC Beast is back.
Okay. I don't feel like it can be broken down any better. Now, I just want to say it on live air. Shout out to Howie, man. He definitely doing this thing, man. Putting us in position. Cosby. Listen, I don't know what he's doing, man, but we need the DML. We gotta switch that award around from the Cosby to the Howie Award, man, because he's doing this thing. But all right, with all the moves that the Eagles is making in real life, and loading this team up, and the bus continues to get blessed. You know, the roster is stacked across the board, and they also not just in place to win now, but also in place to win for the future. What do you feel like could get in the way of stopping the bus from hosting the first banner with the Philadelphia Eagles up in the DML rafter? Ember, what do you feel like could get in the way from stopping him from doing that?
Well, himself, man. I mean, he gets in his own head in the playoffs, man. I've been telling that dude for years, like, bruh, stick to your game plan. You know, in the playoffs, he tries to be like Peyton Manning and sling the rock. I'm like, nah, man, just run the ball, play defense. And you saw the last time he took a team from the Nfc East a couple of Maddens ago, he took the Washington football team at that time. And he went to 5 bowls and won 3?
You know, that was the rebirth for the bus, because he was running it. He ran that cycle. He came out, guns blazing, and he figured it out, man. So, I mean, the Eagles are stacked, man, and they got a great defense. He loves defense. They got some, a couple, old veterans on the team that, he can still work in and get rid of, but that has an amazing core on that team, man. So, I low-key expect to see Jalen Hurts get moved, and I wouldn't shock to see Justin Fields in a Philadelphia Eagle uniform in due time. What?
Yeah, that's my big projection, man, that Justin Fields will be a Philadelphia Eagle.
Whoa.
Him and H-Bo been good trade partners for all them years, and so, Bus likes to get in those DMs and slide them panties off. So, it's it ain't gonna take much, man. So I say Justin Fields is gonna be a Philadelphia Eagle.
That's a bold prediction, man. Bold prediction. All right, I'm coming to you from an expert because you are, of course, diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. So Vitamin heads into another cycle with the Cowboys. All right, would you consider that a comfortable situation or uncomfortable situation after him falling short multiple times last cycle from winning the banner?
Well, I think it's comfortable because he knows the roster up and down. So I think that's the comfortable piece. I think the uncomfortable piece, as anybody knows, when you have your team, when you pick your team that you're a fan of, is there's that added pressure of you got to win one. And then the other part is when when you have your team, sometimes it's difficult to let go of a guy because you're invested in him in the real life NFL. So sometimes you hang on to a guy a couple seasons longer than you should have. And so that's where Vitamin has to improve, is not hold on to guys that he knows aren't going to help him win a banner here in the DML. And I think he did a good job of that last year. But this is his last opportunity, Vitamin. You got to win a banner this year or you can't pick the Cowboys no more. You've tried now. It's not worked. It's time to put up or shut up at this point. So I need to see the Cowboys up there winning a banner, as long as it's not while I'm in the playoffs trying to win one with Buffalo. As long as I'm not there, I'm rooting for Vitamin. But we'll see. He's got a loaded roster again. You know, I know people say that the Madden ratings people love the Dallas Cowboys, but it's just because they're that good that's why they're loaded that tall, that high in the ratings, and people just need to learn to deal with it at this point. As long as, you know, my guy Dustin is running the crew there for the Madden's adjustment team. So big shoes to fill for Vitamin, but if anybody can do it, count on my guy over there in Dallas. We'll see.
All right, expert, I'm going to need you to get the Emerald decoder ready, because I'm about to ask him this question, and we're going to definitely need this message decoded, because it's probably not going to mean what Emerald said it's going to mean. Now, took a couple seasons off. I don't know how many it was, but you took a couple seasons off, and apparently you put the sticks up on the shelf, so now you're back to shaking the dust off and trying to get into your flow. How many seasons will it take for the people to see the old Emerald back, meaning competing for multiple banners?
Man, I'm going to keep it a buck. Give me a couple of seasons, man. Let me find a quarterback. Let me make some draft picks. I'm going to back the Brinks up, you know, the Brinks truck up in free agency. You know, the Giants are hot trash right now, man. They're like the second lowest rated team on the game behind JB's Texans. So, I mean, they're pretty bad, you know, but just give me a little bit of time, man. Like I said, I didn't really play Madden for about almost 2 years. So we're finding our rhythm again, and just let me find a quarterback that can sling the rock, and I think we'll be all right. But man, it's fun to be back in the NFC East with the homie Bus. I expect a lot of good battles between him and I. You know, him and I had that Bears-Packers, rivalry for a long time. So it's going to be reunited in different colors. So it should be fun, man. So I'm hoping to, throw up a banner with the New York symbol on it this time. So it'd be kind of sad but happy at the same time if that were to happen.
All right, now, expert, can you please decode that for us so we can understand what the real message behind that statement was?
He started out really, really good. He was actually being truthful. Like most politicians, there's some truth hidden in some of these things that he's talking about. There was a little bit of truth. He said it's going to take him a couple seasons. I agree. He's got to find a quarterback. But listen, he said it's going to be nice getting back in the division with Bus. Yeah, they are buddies outside of Madden. Trust me, though. What Embro really said is, I cannot wait to bust Bus's ass again for 9 straight seasons. I can't wait to see those Philadelphia Eagles come to New York so I can beat the brakes off of him. And what you didn't hear was underneath there, he said, and that goes for the sorry Dallas Cowboys as well. See, this is the problem. Embro tries to play this nice guy attitude, but when he gets on the sticks, he is a bully from the jump. A bully, straight bully. This is the dude that's taking your lunch money, asking you, what did your mom pack you for lunch? He's not trying to trade with you. He's trying to rape you. That's what Embro does. So don't listen. If you are new in the Dynasty, there's a lot of you new users in here that don't know this guy. Let me explain to you. This is the guy that's hung so many banners. We just quit making the banner. We just copy and pasted them things because he had won so many of them. Mm-hmm. If this guy hits you in the DM, tell him go suck an egg and get out your DM. You ain't got nothing for him. Now, the problem is that people are like, oh, Embro's trying to trade with me. He must have a good piece. Yeah, he's going to give you a good piece. But the problem is he's going to flip whatever you give him into an even better piece that you could have got in the first place. Because if you would have just held on to your pick, you could have drafted the same player he's winning championships with. Stop trading with Embro. It's real simple. We tried to make that rule when he was here before, and nobody listened. I would look up, and it'd be draft day, and Embro be picking 6, or he'd be picking fourth, and he'd have another goon on his squad that's catching 78 balls in the first 8 games of the season, and nobody could compete with it. It's okay. I know. It's what the young guys do, and it's hard to get away from that. I'm just telling you right now, if he hits your DM, it's not because he likes you. It's because he got Marvin Gaye on in the background. He done poured a little Hennessy in the cup. He gonna tell you that you're beautiful. Know that dress don't make you look fat. He loves. He gonna stroke your hair. He gonna buy you some flowers. And then at the end of the night, when you wake up in the morning, he's gone with your wallet. Stop listening to this man.
Man,
listen.
Them Giants
he's back.
pick 4. Them Giants may be picking number 4 and 6 with their own draft pick. So.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
All right. So who do you have? We'll come to you, Emerald. Who do you got running this division this cycle, and who will be y'all doormat?
Man, so for me, I think Bus is going to come out on top in the first couple of seasons. I think Vitamin's going to struggle with the, cap space and some of those players. He has been notorious in holding on to some of them guys too long. But I hope that it's going to be a Giants taking the crown by the end of the cycle by hanging up the most division titles. But, I think Bus will win probably 4. I'll give myself 4, and I'll maybe give Vitamin 1.
Ooh, wee. I can't wait to see these games. I'm tuning into every single game. Now, who's the doormat? Because you only mentioned 3 names, so...
Under 3 rated my dog, man. He's one of them silent but deadly killers, man. He's the coolest guy. But when it comes down to it, man, he don't have a quarterback. I love the defense he has, but I just don't see him competing with, the long-term rosters. I could be wrong. Hell, I could be the doormat. I don't know. I voted myself as the doormat, so I don't know, man. We'll see. But
the decoder is going off again.
Yeah, it's true. Here's the thing. I feel bad. I feel bad for my guy Underrated because there's really not a doormat in this division, right? It just so happens that Underrated, who's a good user, has played well in this league. He just got stuck with 3 goons in the division. So it's not really a doormat. It's just Underrated got stuck in this division. And it's okay because he going to man up. He going to play all his games. He going to be available. He going to communicate with his teammates. He going to communicate with the division guys and make sure they set games up. So he's a good division guy to have on in the group with you. As far as running the division, I'm going to agree. I think Bus comes out. He has the most polished team out the gate ready to go. Mm-hmm. He's got pretty much a loaded, complete roster. There are a couple holes, and I'm sure Bus already has figured out what those spots are that he's got to improve on. But this team is ready to go out the gate. It's got a lot of speed. They got rid of the weak link in Rager. He's no longer on the roster. They add a safety that they needed badly. Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. You pair up Darius Slay with a guy that can help him on the back end as well. It's going to be fun to watch. But at the end of the day, Bus is going to win him 3, maybe 4. You're going to see Embro win 3, maybe 4. And then you're going to see Vitamin sneak in there and try and win him a couple as well. This will be the division to watch. Don't turn your eyes when these guys play. When you see it in the chat, tune into one of them. Support the homies as they play on Twitch or wherever they're going to stream at. And let's just watch this unfold because it's going to be fun to watch. Even if you don't have a dog in the race, it's going to be fun to watch. And if you're in the NFC, you better scout these 3 guys because you are guaranteed to see one of them in the playoffs every single season.
And I can't disagree with y'all at all on this one. I feel like out the gate, I'm going to say running this division, I'm at to give it the Bus. Not only because I love my Philadelphia Eagles, but just the way that this team is built. The defense is there. Chicago defense in the previous seasons when Bus was the owner, it was okay, but the defense is there. And the game tips in the favor of the defense. And he's the hit stick king. And the list just could go on and on and on and on about how successful that the Bus is going to be this cycle. But I feel like that's going to come to a halt at some point. I'm going to say probably season 3, season 4. Then I got to go with Embro. And I'm going to say the rest of it's going to be a toss-up. I don't. I'm going to say it's going to be a toss-up, man, between if we got Bus getting 3, Embro getting 3, that leaves 3 on the table. I'm going to say Under's going to find his flow, man. I have undertaken at least the division once. It's hard to not say that this Washington Commanders team can't win the division.
You gotta stop. You gotta stop bringing something to your Listen.
I gotta listen.
Please hide your keys somewhere in the house so you don't drive nowhere today.
Please,
Chris Murray.
I gotta say,
you really just said the Commanders winning division with 3 dogs in that division.
Listen,
come on, man.
The Commanders is going to win the division, and I just feel like I don't have a doormat for this division because each roster is just loaded, man. I just want to see this division compete. But Under, listen to me, man. I have you winning the division crown this cycle. All right, I have you. It's stamped in the book. It's in the notes. I have you to win it. But this division, we see why, man. They got ranked 1. Like experts said, it's nothing but dogs in this division. So drop a comment, man. Let us know if we got it right. What was y'all thoughts on who came in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th, 8th? I'm your host, OG Chris Murray, man. I appreciate y'all jumping on. We out.